Dr. Anupam Tiwari. Let me tell all of you. He's not only the right person at the right place, but also he's an ex-defense person. So, Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Anupam Tiwari is also a PhD holder in blockchain-enabled defense diplomacy. So, let's have a please great round of applause for him. While coming to Dr. Tiwari, just looking from your perspective, especially into the defense and talking about the blockchain, because this is one of those niche sectors where very few of the people coming in terms of the research and all those. But your research is something which is completely the need of the era and related to this event and the ecosystem. So over to you, please.
Thank you, India Blockchain Summit, and it's an honor to be sitting with the panel with Mr. Chandrakant, Mr. Golok, Mr. Suresh. I'll tell you about my journey in few minutes, but that's all related to blockchain, so of course you'll connect better. Another about 12 days, today is 19th of October, and another about 12 days, we'll reach about 31st October. 31st October 2008 has got a very big significance with blockchain. 31st October 2008, first time the paper Bitcoin peer-to-peer network was uploaded by Satoshi Nakamoto, an anonymous user. And after that paper was uploaded, 3 months later he uploaded the API, and 3rd of January 2009 the first block was mined. So that was all happening subtly, nobody knew what is happening, most of the world didn't know what this paper is all about. Once this software was uploaded, then people started doing transactions over it. The community started making noise of it. This is the first time that a trust is there on an algorithm. There is no third party, and it reached my ears in 2010-11. For the first time, I heard this term Bitcoin in about 10-11. And I was very inquisitive. I have been from a domain of technical inclined person, so I was very keen to know how is this happening. And believe me, the paper that was uploaded by Satoshi Nakamoto, that was about 14-15 pages. It took me about 3-4 years to understand what is exactly happening, how is Bitcoin working. It is not as simple as I tell you that there are blocks, they are connected to each other, there is immutability, there is hashing, there is integrity checks, there is a number of transactions happening, there is storage, etc. I can go on. But this is all happening phenomenally. It's an amalgamation, just not one technology. Blockchain is an amalgamation of multiple technologies. So, in these 3, 4, 5 years, I looked around just after Bitcoin, multiple cryptocurrencies came. These multiple cryptocurrencies came, and then came 2015 Ethereum. Ethereum came up with an extended thing, something known as smart contracts. Thereafter it came up with NFTs, thereafter hyperledgers, thereafter so many blockchains came up, and today we have got about hundreds of blockchain platforms which are doing wonderfully fine. And the good thing is that although they have got the same purpose, but they are all doing it differently. So now coming to while in the day we will hear out a number of advantages, we will hear out a number of positive things about blockchain, but from a security perspective, from a military defense perspective, what we generally associate with, for all the engineers, for all the young girls who are sitting here and hearing out and are spending their day for the blockchain, just I'll point out few things of you have to exactly focus on, deliberate of what exactly how this thing is happening. So now coming to the technology part. Technology, we say blockchain is secure. Absolutely, no problem, उसमें कोई doubt नहीं है. It is absolutely, relatively much secure. 100% तो हम नहीं कह सकते, but always we have to be relatively secure, because 100% security is going to be a myth for long. So now coming to the technology internals, cryptography. Now coming again, the PM Vision 2047, Bharat Atmanirbhar banega, we will become indigenous. Now we have to connect every mission with that. So blockchain, in case we are discussing today, we have to associate how are we contributing to 2047. एक blockchain का platform, in case we are able to establish, that's not gaga about it. we have to look ahead. How are we contributing to the nation to 2047? And you all, the young lot, engineers and young graduates who are sitting here, you have got a lot to contribute. What you have to see is the blockchain foundations, cryptography, encryption, hashing. This is not ours. Now when I say ours, whose is it? Whose encryption standards are we following? Anybody from the audience, in case somebody can just raise his hand and just shout out. Whose encryption standards are we using in any of the blockchains or in any of the national missions? Encryption standards. NIST. We do not have our own cryptography standards. We do not have our own digital signatures. Now when I say own matlab Bharat. We are users. We have to look forward to make all this indigenous. We have to look forward. Now when we say blockchain mein, it is just not the software. The hardware part also comes. The mining, whatever is happening, it needs a whole lot of ASIC. So all that ASIC, application specific integrated circuit, etc., all this. So coming to all this like hypervisors, virtualization, bricks, RAID, encryption, cryptography, everything, this is not ours as on date. We are using somebody else's standard. There is nothing wrong in it, but we have to look forward to make all this indigenous. Now, coming to another important point, before Mr. Chandrakant, in case I go overboard, you can just give me a tinkle and we'll continue later. So another important part that I would like to put in place here is, now when we say encryption standards are military grade. So what exactly does it mean? That we are banking upon an algorithm that it will secure, it will keep our data secure, it will keep our data safe and sound. Now, in August 2024, just about 2 months back, what exactly happened is, maybe few of you are aware, the first post-quantum cryptography standards were released. Now, post-quantum cryptography standards have been released. They are not in draft stage. The final standards have been released. There are 4 currently. One pertains to encryption, decryption, encapsulation, decapsulation, that's FIPS 203. All these terminologies जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, maybe you are not immediately conversant, but you just remember PQC, post-quantum cryptography standards. So then the rest of the 3 standards which I see is digital signatures. Now why have they been released? They have been released because there is an imminent threat to the current encryption and things, digital standards. What threats? It is quantum computers, CRQC, cryptographically relevant quantum computers. CRQC means cryptographically relevant quantum computers, those kind of computers and those kind of hardware which will be able to break the encryption standards that we find military grade today in a matter of minutes or seconds. And this is absolutely alarming. Alarming in the sense, in case we are going ahead with any kind of projects today in security, in encryption, etc., we have to be ensuring ourselves that ये 4, 5, 6 साल से ज़्यादा या मे बी 10 years तक चलेगा. उसके बाद it is not going to withstand any kind of quantum attacks. So today we have heard of AI attacks. Today we have heard of cyber security attacks. You start thinking about this quantum attacks, and now these quantum attacks we have to start preparing today. It is not like कि मैं 2030 में इसको prepare कर लूँगा. No. Now, in case the country, one of the countries like US, they have released the standards, China, Russia, they have released the standards, they have released their post-quantum standards. So what do they exactly mean? They have released the standards and they also have given the timeline to shift, to migrate to new post-quantum blockchains. Post-quantum blockchains. Now, what exactly time they are looking forward to shift into tier 1 classified units, classified organizations? 6 to 7 years. 6 to 7 years will take for a migration from an older standard which we are using today to the newer standards. Now people say, when you read or maybe you start gossip reading, that यार ये तो होना ही नहीं है, क्वांटम कंप्यूटर्स आते आते टाइम लग जाएगा. टाइम लगेगा, कितना टाइम लगेगा आज की डेट में? What exactly is future? We do not know what exactly is future. What Future is approaching us at a very, very fast pace. आज की डेट में we do not know what lies ahead. 5 years बाद क्या होगा? Whether it is any domain, whether it is IT, whether it is bio, whether it is any kind of infrastructure, form factor, so many things are happening. So post-quantum blockchains, currently there are research works going on wherein these encryption standards will be shifted to post-quantum encryption. Digital signatures will be shifted to post-quantum digital signatures like FIPS 204, 5, 6, etc. So I can go on this, but I have my limitation of the time contributing to the panel, so I'll give it back to Mr. Suryakant, who can further take on this.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Tiwari. So, just to add on what you said recently about, so from your perspective and based on your experience, how do you see, I know it's a matter of defense, but if you can quote certain example that decentralization talking about the defense, how do you see the change in terms of the past and present? Can you quote any example like with related to the defense?
Now, quoting an example, of course I have my limits of what I speak and how much I speak, but yes, there are a number of military applications that we are currently venturing into, and there are a number of few partners whom I see sitting here who are already associating with the defense in doing a number of projects. Now, in the longer vision, we do not see work for today. We have to see longer vision. Longer vision in the sense, what are we exactly decentralizing ahead? What are we looking to decentralize? Fauj mein, it is not so simple to decentralize. Fauj is more about centralization with respect to command, with respect to dissemination of orders, etc. That's more central in nature by design. But when it comes to the decentralization of architecture and basic things, we look forward to decentralized autonomous organizations for a start. Now, decentralized autonomous organization, I will not be able to explain, but from the words, in case you are able to make out, decentralized, it's decentralized, autonomous, it runs on its own organization, decentralized autonomous organizations. So small pockets, we have started thinking on those lines. Healthcare, what exactly we can do. Logistics, we are exactly into a few partnerships. There are a multiple number of defense applications like these, logistics, etc. Inventory, of course, we have got a huge inventory in defense. Now, how do we control it? As on date, it is on ERP. As on date, it is on some API platform which we are working on currently. But the vision is this can be converted into NFTs. Now, NFTs is going to impart kind of transparency which is kind of unimaginable. So this kind of things. Now, again, if I say NFT, as on date, who is the leader in NFTs? Whether it is ERC 20, 720, 721, 1331, 1330, any kind, it is only Ethereum. So we have to look for options also, while we should not be banking upon something. Like Mr. Nitin brought out in the morning, interoperability is the issue. So today, one blockchain is doing very good, and we all stick to it, we all start using it. After 4 years, we come to know that एक और बहुत बढ़िया blockchain आई है, this is C. Now, how do we migrate from A to C? It will not be possible. So we should not be bound by one. So we have to deliberate upon a lot of factors before we exactly get into some kind of final project or implemented project. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So coming to Dr. Tiwari, so because we moreover, when we talk about the government perspective, we moreover look into the kind of policies and scheme also. So what are the key policies, like if I can ask your opinion, your view over this, what are the key policy consideration for embedding decentralized system in the defense sector to ensure secure autonomous decision making initiatives?
This answer will not be peculiar to the defense, but it will be more generic in nature with respect to any kind of implementations in blockchain relative to like sir said, PII, personally identifiable information. So there are a lot of works which are happening associating ZKP, zero knowledge proof, associating zero trust architecture. So zero trust architecture is again never trust, always verify, assume breach, least privilege access is there. So these kind of independent technologies are being associated by decentralized platforms so that whatever information is stored in blockchains, so at least that remains secure. Now, one thing also you always note that So whenever we have any kind of data relative to blockchain, so blockchain is all about decentralization. We decentralize everything. But at the same time, you also see for most of the blockchains, the data is being stored in clouds. So while on one hand we look forward to make the best of decentralization through blockchains, but at the same time currently we have limited technology to help us out on the storage part. So we have to inevitably bank on clouds. So now what work is on to make the even storage decentralized. So in case you have not heard of or not aware of, you do read, there are different protocols like IPFS, Interplanetary File System, then there are Storage, Swarm. So what these do is, they even decentralize the storage. So in case, to give you an analogical example, suppose we have got a PDF, it kind of forms a data, so that's a 5 MB file. For an example, I am giving an example. So it will not be directly stored on a cloud. What will happen in a decentralized storage is, this 5 MB file will be broken into about 50 parts. These 50 parts will be stored at different peer nodes. These peer nodes, why will they store these packets of data? What Anupam Tiwari is 5 PDF, the 5 MB PDF, why will they? Because they'll get some coins. So there is a lot happening here that we are exactly able to further decentralize the storage part also. So that takes care of the any kind of private information. Now one thing I forgot in my earlier mention was what blockchain can do in the space. So blockchains, we will today hear out many applications in passport, in HR, in healthcare, in logistics, etc., etc. But always do remember, you can just explore this out, that blockchain is already into space. For example, there are two cases that you can just read about. Blockchain, that's one is space chain. That's a blockchain which is taking care of ensuring the Bitcoin transaction. Space chain is for Bitcoin transaction. Even when you do not have any kind of communication, you do not have internet, you have a device, and this blockchain satellite, there are about 5-6 of them. They are already covering each and every part of the sky. So they are able to ensure that Bitcoin transactions happen. Now, that's not the end. We should think ahead. If this is happening, if a Bitcoin transaction, if a commercial company from some state is able to do this, what can we do out of it? What applications we can make out of it? Blockchain in the sky. Then JP Morgan had recently done read about last year, wherein they were able to do transaction between two satellites up in the sky. What transaction? Money was transferred. Now, question comes, why will money be transferred from satellite to satellite? Why? Up in the sky, what are they doing with the money part? Now, when we go into the space again is a very dynamic sector today. It is coming basically exploited with a number of applications which are coming up. So some satellites are part of communication, some satellites are part peculiar to agriculture, some are peculiar to some imaging of defense, some are peculiar to any kind of hyperspectral imagery. So there are a number of applications. Now, blockchain satellite as a service when it comes. So I do not have a satellite for a particular application. So I request another satellite of another state. You do this for me, I'll pay you. So what that happens is, it doesn't happen on the land, it happens on the sky. So that was just a POC. But the idea is that we should think over it of what extended applications we can contribute towards 2047. 2047, just do not take it as just another project. Take it by heart. Each one of you, each one of us is responsible. It is just not the government कि वो 2047 आत्मनिर्भर बना देगी. नहीं, it is our role. Each one is responsible. In case you are a college student, you have your own arc of responsibility. As me, I am doing my whatever I can do. So 2047, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बताया था, 2047 is 24/7. 24/7 अगर आप लगे रहोगे तब जाके हम 2047 अचीव करेंगे. So that you must keep in mind, and it's a continuous work for us. 2047 आराम से नहीं होगा, but we have to achieve it. So that you can carry on. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm sorry looking into the time variance, so I'll leave this to the respective panelists for the closing remark, looking into the industry sector, we have aspiring as well as the young entrepreneurs, we have corporate sales and government and also people from the consulting background. So based on your experience, what would be your suggestion as a closing remark?
I will close my remarks with three keywords that young guys can take on. These three keywords. First is differential privacy. Now decentralized, whenever you start reading on blockchain, doing something on blockchain, then you start worrying about privacy. So there is a lot happening in the world of AI. Differential privacy. So differential privacy, I will not be able to explain though, but it is inserting some kind of noise. Data hacks तो होंगे ही होंगे. Over a period of time, ऐसा है नहीं. It is not possible that hacks will not happen. Hacks will inevitably happen in spite of the best of efforts. So what can we do? With the original data, there are ways and means. Mathematically, we can insert noise so that even if the data is hacked, the original data remains okay. So that is not gone. Then the second is privacy budget. Privacy budget has got nothing to do with finances, but it has got something to do with how much of privacy are you ready to compromise. It's a technical term. It is not some kind of that I have originated. Privacy budget. You have to earmark what kind of privacy are you able to compromise. And now there is maths behind it. I will not go into the epsilons and zetas behind it, but you should carry on these and you must maybe work upon this. And the third is again blockchains with homomorphic encryption. Homomorphic encryption means without decrypting, you are working on the encrypted data. So again, data remains encrypted, you never decrypt it, but the processing is happening. So these three terms, differential privacy, privacy budget, and homomorphic encryption. With this, I'll conclude. You must explore these words with and associate with whatever projects you may be associated with or working on or exploring about. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sir.
Thank you so much. So while